Why didn't anyone tell me Secret Wars was kind of bad? Welcome back to Reading Every X-Men Comic Ever, a weekly series where I rank and recap X-Men comics as I read them in my journey to read them all. This week, I've entered through the first major event in my journey and read all 12 issues of Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars from 1984, written by Jim Shooter with art by Michael Zeck and Bob Layton. And let me tell you, this book's fucking mid. I probably would have been better just skipping it if it wasn't for how it ended. Now, I'm convinced it's called Secret Wars, not because the Earth in canon doesn't know what's happening, because it's a secret as to why the reader should care about it at all. Not much happens that actually matters, and almost everything that would matter gets undone quickly after or by the end of the book. Things are either over-explained or don't get explained at all. There are too many characters, which means a good chunk of them don't do anything and barely speak. This is especially true for the X-Men, with half of them not contributing anything to the book, which is kind of ironic considering why I read it. Speaking of reading it, I guess I should start the recap. This is going to be a weird one. A bunch of Earth's greatest heroes are teleported to a spaceship light years away from Earth. This includes the X-Men: Chuck, Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Rogue, also Cyclops and Lockheed for some reason. The Avengers: Captain America, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Wasp, Captain Marvel, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, and Spider-Man, and 3 of the Fantastic Four: Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, and The Thing. Oh, Magneto is also here with the heroes. The reason why won't be explained until the very last issue, and not to anyone that matters. Another spaceship appears, which has some of their villainous counterparts, including Dr. Octopus, the Lizard, the Absorbing Man, the entirety of the Wrecking Crew, Kang the Conqueror, Galactus, Molecule Man, the Enchantress, Ultron, and Doctor Doom. They all watch a galaxy get wiped from existence, and a planet made out of chunks of other planets. Everyone then hears a message from a voice in a crack in space-time that tells them he is from beyond, and if they slay all their enemies, all that they desire will be theirs, and then they are set down on the planet's surface. The heroes do some infighting about what to do about Magneto until he leaves, and who should lead them. They choose Cap. All the villains choose Doom to lead, but when he arrives after getting rejected trying to attack the Beyonder, he calls them all idiots, blows up their base, and then he finds the heroes, and he blows them all up and leaves. And then the heroes get attacked by the rest of the villains. This loop of Team A attacks Team B and both teams deal with their injuries summarizes like 10 of the 12 issues of this book. Some of you may tell me that this is a gross oversimplification, or that this can be applied to most comic books at the time. And I mean, yeah, sure, but at least in the solo titles, there are actual consequences of the fights they do, and the characters have to navigate and deal with those consequences in subsequent issues, and they're not just minor injuries. Also, this is the first Marvel crossover event. Was it wrong for me to have expected the status quo of Marvel to get majorly shaken up, for someone who actually matters to die? Sorry, hold on. Hello? What's that? This comic was requested by Mattel to sell toys. Well, that certainly explains a lot. This whole thing ends with Doom taking Galactus' meal for himself, fighting the Beyonder, and winning, becoming omnipotent. He kills all the heroes, but they get better, and the Beyonder, who was hiding out in Klaw, takes his power back. Reed Richards then discovers there's a way to get everyone home, but Ben Grimm stays behind and She-Hulk takes his place on the Fantastic Four. That's it. That's Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, or at least everything that matters. Obviously, that wasn't a very long recap, so here are a bunch of, I don't want to call them highlights, but things that happen in this book. Ultron immediately attacks his compatriots and gets bodied by Galactus. The Thing unwillingly transforms back into human Ben Grimm. Him changing back and forth is a recurring thing that happens throughout the book, and in the last issue, he realizes he can control it, and that's his reason for staying on Battleworld. Magneto finds a base of his own, but then he decides to immediately attack the hero's base, takes Wasp captive, and after he brings her back to his home, the two make out. We get both of the Charles Xavier specials, mind-wiping, and a lack of communication, because the X-Men discuss amongst themselves that they plan on leaving this group of heroes and joining Magneto. Spider-Man eavesdrops, calls them traitors, and attacks them, but before he can tell anyone else, Chuck wipes his mind. How very Silver Age of you, Chuck. Doom finds 2 human women on this Patrick planet that want to be supervillains and turns them into Volcana and Titania, respectively. Volcana immediately falls for Molecule Man because he isn't an asshole like the others who all keep calling her fat. Team Avengers tries to retreat from battle but gets a mountain range dropped on them. Doom obliterates Kang for betraying him in issue 1, but he does bring him back later after he becomes omnipotent. The X-Men bail out the Avengers from an attack, but leave a critically injured Colossus behind, and he immediately falls in love with the healer alien woman, tossing aside his current relationship with Kitty, and he is so in love that he does not want to go home after she dies, saving him. Doom sneaks into Galactus' ship to look for something that can defeat both Galactus and the Beyonder. He instead finds the insane man known as Claw living in Galactus' walls ever since Dazzler killed him. Remember the Lizard was in this? No? How about the Wasp? No as well? Yeah, I didn't remember them either. But they are still here. Wasp left Magneto's after the X-Men showed up, and in her travels she stumbled into a swamp, which is where the Lizard's been chilling ever since the first issue. Wasp patches him up, and then immediately gets shot and seemingly killed by the Wrecking Crew. She isn't actually dead. Spider-Woman, not that one, or that one either, appears to the Avengers because apparently Denver is a part of this battle world, and she was there. In a fight where Team Avengers goes to rescue She-Hulk, highlights from it include Cap shield bashing a drunk Enchantress, Spider-Man tossing Titania through a wall, Johnny Storm going supernova on Ultron, and Patty Cake? Spider-Man gets his black suit. In the last issue, a water elemental exposition dumps everything about the Beyonder. All of this information probably should have been revealed throughout the book, but it wasn't. Captain America wills his shield back together, and that's Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. The art's decent and it has its moments, but all in all, it doesn't do anything that interesting or game-changing. I honestly think this would have been a much stronger book if it was 6 issues instead of 12, but we got what we got. Here are the rankings for each issue individually, but it nets around to a general 6 out of 10 for the whole series. Next week, it's back to Uncanny X-Men to see what, if anything, happened to the X-Men after their explosive teleportation.